Hey everybody, David from Flash by V Cycle Nut here. Just got done unpacking the new Toce, Toce. Been out a while, still not quite completely sure how to say it. Kind of like Akrapovic or whatever. People never pronounce it the same way. I say Akrapovic, it's probably wrong. I say Toce, it's probably wrong. But no matter what, it's still the same thing. So I got the Toce exhaust in for the GSX8S. I haven't seen that anybody else has tested it, and it looks pretty decent from the pictures I've seen mounted on the bike, so I figured, what the hell, we'll give it a test. I ordered the polished finish instead of the all black finish. I haven't had good luck with the black coating staying on different exhausts. The exhaust, Tosh has not a great reputation, right? A lot of people get really angry when you bring up you're going to buy a Tosh exhaust. This exhaust looks nice. I don't really see anything stand out wrong with it. The polished finish on it looks pretty nice. The canister is aluminum and decently light. The whole system weighed 7.6 pounds, which is about 9.4 pounds down from the stock one. The hardware bracketry looks decent. They got springs to hold the header on and a clamp to hold this canister on. I wish that was held on with a spring also, instead of these ugly ass clamps that they give us. I ordered it with the DB killer, and unlike most exhausts where it goes in the end, because they have this, I forget what they call it, but because they have this double outlet, there's no real way to put a DB killer in it. So this literally goes in, you take those 3 bolts off and slide this in there, and then the canister bolts with this in there. And man, looking at this, I can't imagine this is going to flow very well. I'm betting it makes it real quiet, but this is probably going to kill the power. So, but I'll test it so you can know if you want to put up with the power losses with it. I do think it's going to be pretty loud, like most Toce exhausts, because this is just basically straight through. There is some baffle material in it, but when you have a canister that is this short, really, and this small, it's physics. There's not enough area to really dissipate the sound energy well. It also didn't come with any instructions. Yay. So I'll get to figure out how this bracket mounts up, and I will show you that when I make the install video. So I'll get this on in the next couple days, get some time testing and tuning done on it, and get you some numbers. So I'm in the process of installing this Toce exhaust. It didn't come with instructions, but they are working on them. So I called them up, and they were cool enough to text me some pictures. This is really the only question, is this large bracket that bolts behind where the stock exhaust mount is. So I removed that stock exhaust mount and have this in there loosely. You can see the one end of it right there, and then the other 2 sides here. There's some raised boss ends on it. They go against this bracket to push it a little farther into the bike. So the Toce is fully installed. I'm not gonna lie, I really like the looks of it. These bolts under here were a bit cumbersome to get to and a bit challenging. Otherwise, it fits real nice. It got enough clearance everywhere. O2 wideband, there was enough room for that with the adapter to go straight into it, which is nice. Sometimes they have them angled up, and I have to install them before installing the exhaust. It is loud. A bit loud. I do have the DB killer for it, but like I was saying in the preview, I think it's going to kill the power, so I don't really think that's going to be an option. But we'll see what kind of power it makes with and without it. Give you a little sound clip of it starting. So it's January, what is it, 8th or 9th, something like that, 5th, I don't know. Beginning of January, and this week, Old Man Winter's supposed to come blowing in here, so I'm hoping to get this tuned and tested tomorrow. We're going to have some decent weather tomorrow before it gets real cold. I don't like to do testing and tuning when it gets below like 45 degrees, sometimes even 50 degrees. It just gets too far off the center, and the data is pretty worthless, even with the temp sensor to correct it. So hopefully I will have some numbers for you tomorrow. See how this bad boy does. Man, does that sound gnarly. Great sounding exhaust. It is loud, like I said, but the DB Killer actually performed better than I thought. The whole exhaust really performed better than I thought. So let's get right into the numbers. This is, if you've seen my other videos, you've seen this before, but let's go through the progression. So this is my GSX8S stock on my dyno. And here's what you get when you add the simple stage 1 airbox mod with removing the snorkels and the little foam element over top of the filter. And we get nice little gains and it smooths out the curve. And here's what we get if you're one of those heathens that puts an exhaust on your bike and doesn't tune it. Just by bolting up the exhaust on the stock ECU, you can see we got nice little gains from about 4,000 RPMs up with a nice little bump in the peak right there. And it still falls off on top. And here's what additional you get when you show your motorcycle you love it by adding my ECU flash. You get another additional 4 horsepower in the peak number, more area under the curve, smoother running, just the bike runs so much better. You are silly if you don't get the flash with the exhaust. Now, in all seriousness, the bike just runs so much better, way more than just I can show on a dyno chart. But the numbers are significant with the dyno chart also. So if we now compare this from where we started with the stock GSX8, there is no comparison, right? We got 8 horsepower gains in peak number, 7 foot-pounds of torque for peak torque, and the area under the curve is just killing it. It holds on the power way better. We're at over 80 horsepower for a full like 3,000 RPMs. It's just really a nice curve, but wait, there's more. Let's see what happens when we go to the stage 2 airbox mod. So first, just look at the gains when you go from the stage 1 airbox mod to the stage 2 airbox mod with the Toce, and the bike really responded well with going from the stage 1 to stage 2. Stage 2 is basically you remove the airbox lid, cut out the surround, everything but the surround, so it just holds the filter down, and it requires different tuning, so I need to know you're going to have the stage 2 airbox mod. But you see we got like a full horsepower and a half, and what's that, 2 foot-pounds of torque gains, really nice gains from it. So let's look at it compared to stock now. And when you compare it to where it was stock, I don't know how to say anything but wow. 10 full horsepower, 10 foot-pounds of torque on the peak number. If we look at the new peak, we got actually an 11 horsepower gain. It's over 80 horsepower for 1, 2, 3, 4, I mean like 4,000 RPMs. We get this huge torque gain, and it's just killing it. Really, really happy with the performance and how the bike rides with the flash and stage 2 airbox mod and Toce exhaust. This is really a nice setup. If you're good with noise and you like a loud exhaust, this is your exhaust to go for sure. Let's look at another spot where we got some really nice gains in torque. And for this curve, we're just going to look at the torque curve so you can really see the massive gains that it has. And you can see at 5,800 RPMs, we've gained a full 12 foot-pounds of torque. And this is right in the meat where you're riding all the time. Really, really good job, Toce. Really impressed with the exhaust. The look is amazing. Power gains are great. Like I said, it's just on the loud side, but you know that if you're looking at a Toce. So speaking of DB Killer, it did do a little better than I thought. I'll show some little video on how to install it and some dyno runs with that. Sorry, guys. Almost forgot to compare it to the Akrapovic exhaust, and you can see it performed really well compared to the Akrapovic. The Akrapovic makes some more on the bottom, more on the very top, but there's an area in the upper mid-range where the Toce actually performs better than the Akrapovic. So, again, great job, Toce. So I got the Toce muffler apart, and I'm going to put the DB Killer in. Fortunately, the holes are kind of indexed, like the 2 holes at the top are a little closer together, so you can only put it on one way. Not really a big deal for the DB Killer, but it is because I took this piece off without really marking where it was oriented, but I don't have to worry about it because it'll only fit one way. And then this just slides in, and then you put this back on, and we'll run it again and see how much quieter. And just so you can see, I put a little high temperature silicone sealant on it, just so it will seal it. Got on both sides. Make sure it seals. And what you get is about a 3 reduction in horsepower through a fair amount of the rev range. I never forgot to talk about sound level. So without the DB Killer, the pipe registered 75 decibels at idle and pegged my meter over 130 decibels during the run. With the DB Killer in, I got 67 decibels at idle and 111 decibels on the run, which is a huge, huge reduction in noise. With the reduction in power, it's still an option if you love the looks of it and still want something that sounds a little more gnarly than the stock exhaust. This is a decent option. So, guys, thanks for watching. Do appreciate it. Remember to hit that subscribe and like button for more motorcycle-related content. Good job, guys, at Toce. Really impressed with your exhaust. Thanks for watching.